What's going on, everybody? It's the Wave Report. It's your boy, Young One, Jonah.
It's your boy, Joe Waters, a.k.a.
This is Traumatic 130 Dark Matter. I can say that I did receive my hoodie. You guys will see it in the next episode. I will have it on.
Well, I received my shirt, and I got that bitch on.
Yeah.
Therapy movement. Make sure y'all get a hoodie or
a hoodie or a shirt, some type of merch from this guy.
Almost threw this drink.
Matter of fact, don't get nothing from him. Just look at him. Don't get anything from him.
Fuck his merch. Tired of this nigga and these antics. You on your Kanye shit? You doing stuff for attention, Joe? That's what we had in life?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on, man.
So, fellas, man, how y'all been this week? Well, not you, because you still doing that bullshit. Man. How you been this week, Tay? What's poppin'?
I've been good. Had to get a battery. You know when your battery go out when it's real cold or when it's really hot.
On the whip? Yeah.
So I had to get a new battery, new terminals. But I'm recharged. You know what I mean?
Charged up?
Yeah, man.
You been listening to Drake?
Absolutely not. Oh yeah, you know, side note, the hardest line of the year is OVO 40 hunched over like he 80. Tick, tick, tick. Goodness gracious.
You know, a lot of people say he was going too far, man.
Ain't no such thing.
Yeah, man.
He mentioned his fiance.
That's grounds to go there?
You mentioned my wife. We ain't rapping.
So this is what I wanted to know though. Like when he mentioned her, you know what I'm saying? Was he mentioning in a way like, hey, I know who she is, and she probably feeling your boy? You know,
that's because normally when he say that, that's what he mean. Yeah, that's what he mean.
Okay.
Drake gonna just throw out random females' names that he ain't interacted with.
That's disrespectful.
OVO 40.
I didn't feel like the line was too much either. I felt like this is war.
Yeah, so you gotta go.
Nigga, you gonna say your name or what?
We in the garage right now.
He don't gotta say his name.
Yeah, we in the garage. This is Wave Report Garage Edition. You understood?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. My name is Joe Waters, a.k.a. You know what I mean? We in the gritty right now. You know what I mean? I feel like I feel a little grittier right now. I just feel like I just want to.
Feel like you back on the block.
I just want to slap a cheesesteak out of somebody's hand walking out. Like as soon as they get it, you know how somebody get a sandwich, just want to slap it on the ground. Right,
you liable to get stabbed. Hey. I got like a pressed Cuban, you slap it out of my hand.
A pressed Cuban. See,
if you get a Cuban sandwich, you don't get it pressed, you're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. You get a Cuban sandwich, you don't get it pressed.
Oh yeah.
If you don't get mayonnaise on your Philly cheesesteak, you try it.
Hey, this Florida shit.
Word to my boy Jimbo.
Man, y'all boys. So what you been up to, Joe? Since before I get into it.
Nah, my week has been good, man. Progressive week. Still basking in the glow of my victory from my battle a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, enjoying life. It's a good year. December. Life is good right now, man. I got no complaints, bro. The therapy movement is moving. Everybody getting their shirts, hoodies, and apparel. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good time. It's a very good time.
Yes, sir.
That's good news. It's good news. All right, fellas. All that out the way. Let's get to it. Let's get to this episode.
What we on?
You know we're gonna pop it off with the relationships.
Oof, I like
and
it.
Whatnot.
Let's talk about it.
So,
let's get in trouble.
A question was posed. Can you come back to a relationship that's been riddled with infidelity? It's a two-part question. Mm-hmm. Second part, does redemption stories still happen? Is that real? Fairy tale endings and shit. So,
what you think, Joe?
You know what? I can say this from all sincerity. If a relationship has infidelity within it, you can come back from it if you want to work on yourself and if you want to truly forgive the person who did you wrong. If you're the person who did wrong, you have to want to work on yourself, and you have to, with contrition, show and believe in the sincerity of the wrong of your actions. So it is possible. It's very possible. I'm not even going to be long-winded on it. I do believe it's possible. It just takes two people who have to be very, very willing. You can be kind of willing to get into a relationship. That just requires vibes and somebody meeting your needs. But you have to be very willing to forgive somebody once you're wrong. You have to be very willing to work extra hard to get on somebody's good side, or to be forgiven and to actually make a relationship better.
So you gotta work for the forgiveness?
Yes.
Damn, that's deep.
What happens when the other person is holding that person in contempt? Like you're wrong, right? And then you try to work your way back, but the person is like making it that much harder for you.
That's why the key word of that is you have to work on yourself. You cannot be handicapped in looking for forgiveness. You have to make sure that you work on yourself and you do everything you're supposed to do, so that way you can trust that you're doing everything. You've reassured, you've given everything that you can to the person that you did wrong, and then you can take a step back and reassess and say, okay, can I do more? What more can I do? If something is if a cloud is being held over your head and you've done everything that you can to work through that, then that's when you have to have a separate discussion a little bit deeper. But if you're doing everything that you can, this week or just the other day, Offset, during the Cardi B concert, we don't know what happened. We all hear things, but we don't know. What I'm saying is, we know he messed up.
Right.
So, the measure of what he's willing to do, that could be public shame, public embarrassment. He stepped on that stage, and in every video I saw, there was a chorus of boos for that man. Nobody was saying, "Yo, take that man back." My man literally hijacked her show, and said, "Yo, I want you to forgive me." We don't.
But did you see her reaction though?
I saw it. It was the reaction of somebody who was wrong. It was the reaction of somebody who was not willing to say this grand gesture is enough.
Okay, that's fair.
So
that's fair. She is the victim.
So you have to, when it comes to forgiveness and when it comes to progressing forward within a relationship, it takes more than grand gestures. You have to actually put contrition behind your actions, and you have to be willing to work through whatever your problem is, and not your partner's problem. If you're the one who did wrong, that is now your problem. You can't say it's ours. You have to work on you. If you're willing to take accountability and work on you, life is good.
I agree.
Man, that's real shit. Spell contrition for me, because we got some slow niggas that be watching too.
Hey yo, I'm gonna put it below. It's CONTRITION, but I'm gonna put it below. It's gonna be right here.
Use Google.
Hey, tell you where you stand in the matter, man. Can you come back to a relationship that's been riddled with infidelity?
You mean riddled, like an affair riddled?
Man, even if it's a long-going affair or multiple, fuck buddies.
Hey, I agree with Joe. I do think you can come back from a relationship that is riddled with infidelity, because I have this theory, right? You're not going to be with somebody in your 20s until you're 70 or 80 and nothing ever happens. Now, if you don't get caught, you're a good one. You know what I mean? Shout out to you. You know what I mean? But most niggas get caught. Females too. I do think you can forgive someone, but forgiveness requires, as Joe said, you being contrite in your actions, and it requires you to be responsibility for your own actions.
All right, wait a second. So contrite comes from contrition?
Contrite is the operative word. It's the word first.
Remember that. I did this for you.
But you can come back to a relationship. I think most people either have cheated or been cheated on. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
I do think the person who's the victim, many times, they, as I mentioned with Joe, they hold a person in contempt. So this person's working extra hard to get back in the good graces of the person that they've wronged, and it's just not enough. But I think the person who's a victim is not allowing forgiveness to spread in their relationship.
Is that common?
Yes, it's very common. It's more common than it should be. If you cheat on somebody, right, you're already in the wrong. You have to assess why you did such a thing, because we may not want to admit it, but a lot of our grandparents, aunties, and uncles who've been together for a long time, somebody cheated, probably cheated.
Right.
But they know how to forgive one another. And that's something we lack in our generation.
Oh, that's a fact.
That's something we lack in our generation. We tend to, if somebody does something wrong to us, we done with them forever. We just throw people away as if they're disposable.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong. If you have an affair with someone, I think if you're the one having an affair, you shouldn't even get back with the other person, because you have no type of remorse. You have no regard for the other person's life, no regard for your safety, especially if you like me, you don't use condoms. And you have like a whole other family though, that takes, I would not say that you should try to get back in your relationship, because I know many situations of dudes having babies on the female. So that's beyond cheating. Yeah, you cheated, but you taking it to another level.
That's got to be hard as hell to come back from. You cheat and shorty get pregnant.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And then you don't tell the person you with. They have to find out through a third party, which is even worse. That's very hard to come back from.
Right.
But cheating, you random night, something like that can be forgiven. That can be worked on.
Right.
It takes a lot of work. Let me tell y'all something. When you're in a relationship, period, even before anything goes wrong, it's very difficult to maintain a healthy relationship.
Already.
Anybody who tells you differently is of the devil. All of us up here, we've been in relationships, we're in relationships. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
And if you're a single person, I'm telling you right now, if you're looking to get married, you're looking to settle down, you need to rethink things if you're not willing to put forth 110% effort every day. Because when you take a day off, it shows. It shows in your relationship. When you start focusing on just yourself and not making the other person happy, see, if this person is making this person happy and vice versa, it's good. But when one person is making this person happy and this person just sitting there receiving, it's only going to go bad. It's only going to go downhill.
It's one-sided.
Yeah, I'm trying to deviate from your question. You can, when things are bad in a relationship, you can come back. And redemption stories are real. There are happy endings.
Now, those got to be rare as fuck.
Oh, yeah, it's rare.
Gotta be.
I ain't say it was common. It's rare.
Because like you said, the victim, a lot of the times, first of all, they granted every right to be pissed.
Yes.
And to hold you accountable on this if they choose to let you, redeem yourself.
Right.
Or not. More than likely, in my opinion, man, I don't think it's even possible, bro. We see the TV shows, we see the movies. Everybody love that happy ending. Nigga fucked up. He get it right at the end. The world's right. In real life, my nigga,
How is it in real
man,
life?
these girls ain't having it. Man, first of all, that nigga gonna have a new curfew, and it's probably 8 o'clock. You in the crib. You ain't going nowhere. You locked down watching Love and Hip Hop.
Oh,
nigga.
no.
You booed up to the max, my nigga. You get up and go to work and you bring your ass home. Oh, they, the boys hit me up. They trying to go bowling and shit. No, I think I want to watch Love and Hip Hop.
Nah, man.
You staying in the house. Like, you ain't doing shit. You tied to a leash, man. And I ain't speaking like this is out of experience or nothing like that.
Where does the trust come in with that, though? So, yeah, the person's wrong, but do you have to keep them in a box?
I feel like you shouldn't, but I believe like a lot of females lose their trust. It's really gone forever. Because if you look at, I've been in this situation where I messed up. I get it right. I'm on track. Soon as she got a hint of something that looked wrong, like maybe a red flag, it really wasn't nothing, but she thought something. She brought everything back up. So that told me you didn't really forgive. You just got comfortable with being around me.
That's correct.
So I don't even know if it's even possible, man. The way people in America, bro, I don't know.
Our society twisted.
Here's a reason why I'm gonna tell you it is possible. Using your points.
Okay.
If I'm an alcoholic and I go to a party and there's no water at this party whatsoever, everything is an alcoholic beverage. I probably shouldn't stay at that party.
Probably not.
If I am somebody who I used to smoke weed or I used to smoke crack or whatever it is, I didn't, but if I'm somebody who used
not to the crack, not to the crack.
If I'm somebody who used to smoke something and I'm now rehabilitated from this, and I'm stressed out, and my buddy's like, "Hey, bro, let's just go take a hit." I probably shouldn't be around that. I probably should switch up that environment. If I'm with somebody and I cheated on them, and I'm the one that did the infidelity, it is not on my partner to set the new standard on how things move forward.
Okay.
If I just want forgiveness and I just want Bae to take me back, the problem is now you're accepting everything that she thinks. If she thinks you need to stay at home and watch Love and Hip Hop 24/7, you need to have a curfew, you are accepting it because you have not set a new standard.
You're a fucking prisoner, bro.
So what happens is, and what needs to happen, I am the one that messed up. I am the one that needs to set the plan and say, yo, I want you. Here's how I'm going to make you happy. I'm going to step up. I'm going to make sure that you know that I see you. You know that I know You know from my end that you are there. You know that I only have eyes for you. I'm going to move the way I need to move, but I am going to take more consideration of you in this situation.
But that don't make her trust you.
It ain't about the trust. It's
Why is not?
Because
If we talk about
if you lose trust, it is impossible to get trust back by leaving it just to her. Because all you're doing is you're leaving it to a false chance.
well, I'm not saying bro done got to do shit.
No,
I'm not saying that.
I'm
but
just saying.
I'm saying for let's say shorty hold on to it. Like you doing what you got to do. Like you said, you setting the standard. You reworking your position in the relationship. But
right,
she's holding this thing against you. So like when I say redemption story, like I mean getting back to ground zero or maybe above. You know what I'm saying? Is that possible if she don't trust you?
yes, because that's a new platform. It's a new start.
A new start.
See, I don't think women see it as a new start though.
I can understand that.
There we go.
We a lot of us do. Like
There we
I
go.
messed up. I'm trying to start. Want to start over. But women, they carry that on into. So it's not necessarily a new start to them. I
Understood.
think it's just one sided.
Even into
I
marriage.
see what you're saying. You make.
I
a good
do
point.
want to say this to the fellas, Murray. If you mess around on a chick and you're engaged or whatever, do not
Tell on
think that
yourself.
is a, no, not that. You probably. Oh no, I can't say that. I ain't gonna advocate for that. But do not expect her to start fresh because you got married. That shit still exists.
Oh,
That shit still
go ahead,
exists.
talk to him.
She's gonna carry that. I think women hold grudges for life, bro.
They do.
I think dudes do too.
Not like women.
Not like women.
My God.
Not like women. I can forgive a nigga. Like I ain't slap a nigga in the head today. And I could have. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like I forgave him on the spot.
I don't think women forgive in the moment to make it seem as if they're really forgiving you. But the moment you mess up again,
Forgive and not forget.
so is that truly forgiveness?
That's my take. I don't think it's forgiveness.
I think I said this in the previous episode. It's impossible to forgive without forgiving. It's impossible to say, okay, it was cool, and not actually do it. Like you can't say it and not actually do it.
Right.
Forgiving is an action.
Yes.
You can't say it and think that that's it, that that's enough. You
Right.
cannot forgive and not actually do the act. You can't say that you forgive somebody and not do the action of forgiving somebody.
I think people are afraid to forgive
Why?
because it leaves them vulnerable. You know, it puts them in a position to be potentially hurt again.
But they'll start over fresh with somebody brand new. So
See,
it's not even that. It's not even
Dumbass.
that. It's not even that. It's just I think people just don't know how. We don't have models on how to forgive. We have a biblical text
Right.
that tells us,
and everybody don't follow that.
but we don't have a lot of things out there that show us, which is why I can appreciate the couple that's been married for 40, 50 years. That's why I like to pick their head, because at some point, they was at McDonald's and she ate one too many of his fries and he was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they stuck together, or he may have messed up and they stuck together. I appreciate the relationships that were built on test.
Yeah.
A lot of times the biggest test is when an insecurity or infidelity is created.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
So I think we're running out of those examples. 40, 50 year marriages and shit like that. They dying off. And
Which
we're
is
not-
why we need you to be the new example.
Right.
Talk to us in the comments.
Please.
And with all of that happening, is that making the younger generations, or from our generation down, does that make us more susceptible to being afraid of falling in love?
Yes, our generation is afraid to fall in love. Too afraid. Love is a risk within itself. So if you meet somebody, and as Joe said, you're vibing with them, that's easy. You get together, the sex is good, or it's trash, or whatever you choose. Y'all going out on dates. It's all good. You get along with each other's family. But until you get tested, you don't really know if your love is going to be sustained. And people, our generation, once one thing goes wrong, somebody's out. They've checked out of the relationship. Bodily, they're still there physically, but mentally they're doing other things just off of one tiny small argument. You mentioned the fries thing. It could be women going through a man's phone and misinterpreting something.
Facts. That happens all the time.
See, she's gone. So she's like, oh, I'm not going to marry this person. I'm not going to get in a relationship. Social media has ruined everything because there's very little privacy. And I think privacy should be something sacred in relationships, in marriage, in love. But we don't have it anymore. You know, we all have to take pictures of everywhere we're at. We have to compare our relationships to people who are popular, celebrities, our next door neighbor, and we just can't focus on what we're doing. So I think love is something, we all have love within us. We have love to give, but a lot of us are holding it hostage. And we're afraid to give it out, and a lot of us are afraid to receive it. So, yeah, people are afraid to fall in love.
Talk about that, Joe. Like, you think people are afraid to receive love?
I think people are very open to receive feel, not so much love.
Hold on.
You need to hit the blunt.
Talk to us, Joe. Talk to us. You want to hit the blizzy? You want to hit the blizzy?
A lot of times what people do is somebody meets one of their senses of what they need, one of their prerequisites, and they hit it so hard, pause, that you feel an emotion that isn't true. You feel infatuation and you think that that's love. A lot of times, oh my gosh, she cooks, she cleans, she can talk to me all day on the phone, but are you willing to build her up still? A lot of times you take the things that make you infatuated and forget that it's two people to the puzzle.
Preach, Nick.
She can catch one thing she can do one thing for you that's good. Maybe that's sexual. Maybe she's sexually the best that you have ever had.
She can ride it like a cowboy.
Ain't enough though.
But you think that that's enough to win the fight. And you fail to realize that there's so much more that's due on your part. I'm talking to you, fellas.
Yeah.
Relationships, are people afraid to fall in love? I don't know what women do. I know what I do.
Okay.
I can't fall in infatuation no more. I'm too old for that.
Right.
Okay.
If I was 19 and I want to be with somebody, I'm still too old for that. You want to be with somebody, you want to make it count, stop falling in infatuation.
Right.
You can't fall in love with bae just off infatuation. You can't spend time with somebody 3 days and think it's going to be everything it needs to be. You need to be tested.
Right.
Giving the gospel right now.
I ain't even talking about just an argument. You need to be tested. Sorry, the battery on the camera ran out. But what I was saying was every relationship needs to be tested. Every relationship needs to be tested. You cannot, in any way, shape, or form, fall in infatuation just off of a feeling. You went to the movies. You bought popcorn. You put butter on your popcorn. She put butter on her popcorn. You like salt on your popcorn. She likes salt on her popcorn. Y'all like the same movie. You like Dragon Ball Z. She like I'm in love. Chill with that.
Shit, I might be in love. She like Dragon Ball Z.
Nah, it's deeper than that. Because she might love Dragon Ball Z, but she may not mentally be able to connect with you the way you needed to. So then when y'all get together, you're not going to see it initially. You're going to see it a year down the line when you already, because you're so head over heels in love and you never took the time to realize what love actually is. You haven't been through that trial. So the second you meet that trial, when there is no new Dragon Ball Super episodes and y'all got nothing to do and you realize there's nothing else to talk about, and now you get into an argument and your small insecurity is something that's such overlooked to her, or your small request is something that's such a big problem to her, vice versa. Love requires test. You know how I know Jesus loves me? Died for me. Love requires a challenge.
Okay.
Love without a challenge isn't love at all. It's infatuation.
What you think?
I think a lot of people get caught up in infatuation. I think that's the nail on the head, man. But I think more than anything, I think people are afraid to fall in love because all of the horror stories. I get so many bad examples and examples of things that can go wrong that people are afraid to put themselves out there. You know what I mean? Or they've been hurt so many times that they don't want to try again.
Yeah.
And in reality, I feel like this, a lot of times, a lot of that hurt that was, that they receive, I don't want to victim blame at all, but a lot of stuff could have been avoided, you know what I'm saying, by making better decisions.
Yes.
Marking up red flags, you know what I'm saying? If you see it, don't ignore it, you know what I mean? So a lot of times, it can be our fault while we went through these things, and now we're in a position to where we're scared to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I do believe, that to be the reason. But I think I think we can do it. I think we can do it. If people worked hard enough on themselves and to be comfortable with themselves on the inside, then I don't think they'll have a problem with being vulnerable if they're comfortable with who they are and they stop trying to be comfortable with little checklists. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he got bread?
Yeah.
Okay, check. You know what I'm saying? Hard work, he take care of kids? Check.
Yeah.
I want to be with him for the rest of my life. But what the bitch didn't know, the nigga abuse every woman he's with.
Yeah, that's real.
Or the money ran out.
Yeah, that's real.
You know
And
what I mean?
a lot of y'all women be fooled when y'all meet a man and he go to church. What that mean?
That don't mean a damn thing.
What that mean? Them be the most corrupt niggas.
You know? A lot of them niggas be fresh out the block. A lot of them niggas been, you know, corrupt for years.
Yeah.
You know, and we think, oh, he's a church going guy. He's
Yeah,
wholesome.
that's what.
No.
Yeah.
Regular ass niggas trying to find the Lord.
Yeah.
It don't mean nothing if that nigga in the church, bro.
Or find something else.
Hey, but on another gear though, I want to get into something interesting that I saw. I was watching a CNN interview with Meek Mill, and matter of fact, if we can pull up the clip to it.
Let me go ahead and play that real quick.
We going. You could probably find that bitch on YouTube.
Let's see.
Shout out to Meek.
Yeah. Oh, what y'all fellas thought about his album?
Album was really good. It's really good. A lot of good songs on there. I think over the years, his songwriting has improved a lot.
Hell yeah.
I do believe he has a lot more in the tank. I think this album is scratching the surface of what Meek can really do. Because Meek he can rap, but he can make really good songs too.
I think he found a new place inside himself.
Yeah.
As far as content.
Yeah.
What you thought about the album, Joe?
I thought top to midway was dope. The latter half of it, he was just talking. He was talking. He was just he needed the. I think it was definitely the Meek went from being the young nigga to the OG.
Yeah.
Within an album.
So we watching his transition to OG status.
I think so.
I think he's playing the role. He ain't physically there yet.
Yeah, right.
I think he went from he's that guy on the block who saw some things that changed him, and he wanted to give some young boys some game.
Is it about time? Because he's part of that class from, Sean Kendrick, Cole. You know what I'm saying? He was grinding underground a lot longer. But
I think he had the biggest underground grind out of all of them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. But he's from that cloth, that time period, that generation.
Yeah,
it's about time he make leaps like this, start getting into some real shit. Like this clip that we bringing up now is talking about the criminal justice reform and the shit that he was going through after being on probation for fucking 10 years.
That's a lot,
which is absurd,
ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Something as a child, which he got into on the interview too, that he probably shouldn't have been charged.
Yeah,
the way he was charged with. Yeah. But anyway, let's see let's see about this video. This shit was interesting to me.
Many of them, Meek said, "Hey, you're not the right guy to take on this fight. I can put one on the screen of just something that was typical. I'm not defending our criminal justice system at all, but let's look at the facts. It was more than just a wheelie. We don't know his juvenile record. He got probation, on and on and on, got convicted for selling drugs, possessing a firearm. Essentially, it makes the argument you didn't play by the rule."
Somebody's bringing up his past.
Of course. Pretty sure they're white.
More than likely. To derail what he's doing right now, advocating for criminal justice reform. Is this fair?
That he's advocating for?
No. Is it fair that somebody can bring up your past to kind of derail that?
No.
To say you're not the right person to talk about it?
It's not fair, but it is to be expected.
Yeah.
When you're a minority in this country, especially when you're a black man in this country or a black woman. But we speaking specifically for Meek. No, it's not fair. Whenever a man tries to progress, there's always a gang of people willing to bring up his past.
Right.
You see the innocent man who got shot. What do? Every time an innocent nigga gets shot.
Yeah, they bring up the history.
Oh, this nigga got in a fight in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
In elementary school. No, it's not fair, but I think in our position in society, and white people hate a rich black man. I'm getting it. He got out of prison. He changed the way he's changed his thinking. He probably had a paradigm shift.
Changed the way he moved for sure.
I think that also added, you mentioned before, to him giving more content in his most recent album. So nah, it's not fair. But Meek knows how he came up in Philly. He knows what's to be expected, and even the man that's interviewing him, he's giving him contention, and it's not even needed. It's supposed to be an interview, but he's trying to make it more difficult than what it is, and Meek's trying to explain himself.
All right, let's see what Meek got to say.
Argument, you didn't play by the rules. And if you had played by the rules, I'm going to give you the chance, but if you hadn't played by the rules,
I'm gonna let you finish,
wouldn't
but
have had issues with the system.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I always dreamed too of being like on like CNN and being able to express myself and speak for like
Do
the
it.
voiceless young men of
you
America.
about to.
The first step I would say, I grew up in America in a ruthless neighborhood where we're not protected by police. We grew up with people selling drugs on our neighborhood, on our front steps.
Facts.
We grew up in ruthless environments. We grew up around murder. You see murder 7 days a week. I think if
I
you
ain't
grew
seen
up
it
in
7
my
days a week,
neighborhood,
but that shit
you
crazy.
see 7 people die a week, I think you would probably carry a gun yourself. Would you?
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you
Choked
seen
his
your
ass
neighborhood
up.
family
Yeah, you would
members, or
carry a
seen
gun if you saw that shit
one of
every
your
day.
best friends you grew up with get your brains blown out, I think you would want to protect yourself. Second of all, my first juvenile arrest, going to school, being suspended, I didn't want to tell my mother that I was suspended from school because my mom would have to take off from work. She was a single parent, and my father was in the graveyard. So, you know, I was afraid to tell my mom I was suspended.
Damn.
I went to school on a suspended day. That was my first arrest as a juvenile for being in school. I guess the charge was trespassing. And at 18 years old, I was arrested by the
Pause that real quick.
narcotics.
That's
strike
trauma.
force,
He talking about trauma from childhood, psychological warfare.
So I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but I mean, all right. I don't want to get flagged or nothing, but basically he was saying his first charge a trespassing charge because he was suspended from school.
Right.
Didn't want to tell mom dudes. You know, mom's working all the time. You know, he probably was scared to get his ass whooped.
Yeah.
Went to school anyway. Got caught by the resource officer and got tagged with trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when a nigga, you know, dive into your history, like I said, they usually do black men, who happens to be the victim in certain cases. They still dive into the past. When they find something like this, what's the excuse?
What's the excuse you think?
What's the excuse?
Racism is unbalanced. Racism has always been unbalanced. Donald Trump has run 17 businesses into the ground because he's white and he stands for something that you care about, you overlook it. Racism has always been unbalanced. A black man who grows up in a neighborhood where your police officers that you champion if they die can beat a black child to death, can shoot an innocent boy playing in a park, and you will find a reason to say it was his fault.
Rest in peace to Mir.
Yeah.
Racism has always been unbalanced. It is always seen from the eye of the victim. I can't say the words Black Lives Matter around somebody who believes that all lives matter because it does not represent the portion of society that they represent. Racism is always unbalanced.
Yes.
Meek Mill said he grew up in a neighborhood where his police officers didn't defend him. I grew up in a neighborhood where my police officers didn't defend me. A white man has always seen police officers defend him because generally he's been put into neighborhoods that benefit him. I know, and that's not all white people, because I know some white people in that same environment, but they believe the same way that Meek Mill believes right now.
Yeah, there's some good ones. There's some good ones.
Racism is unbalanced because based upon where you grew up, what your race, color, or creed is, you will be looked at a certain way in this country. There's a buddy of mine from India. September 11th was the worst day of his life because they looked at him like he was the suspect.
Oh, man.
Racism is unbalanced. Remember when we were all patriots? When we all had flags on the back of our cars? Remember that time? Well, that was probably the worst time in life for people from the Middle East.
Oh, man.
Because you looked at them like they were the victim. Or they were the enemy. Racism is unbalanced.
Yeah.
That's my answer. I'm sorry. Racism is unbalanced and it always will be.
Let's see what else he
the
talking about.
narcotic strike force, which Most of these guys were federally investigated. Most of these guys
Talking
were
about the
found
officers
out
that,
to be liars. They lied
indicted
on
him
the
when he was
stand. It
18.
was, proven to be liars. I was arrested for pointing a gun at a whole strike force. Do you know what a strike force? A strike is when 5 or 6 cops come to do a bust. I was arrested for pointing a gun at 2 or 3 cops without any shots being fired. And this is for America. Now we have like cameras and hand cameras.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you really believe I pointed a gun at 2 or 3 cops without a single shot being fired? A young black man and
I don't know what the underlying facts are. I just don't want to ignore the
Now answer the
argument that
question.
some make
Right.
that, hey, Meek Mill's not the guy who should be making
yeah,
this
I
case.
just
That's
want to
all.
explain it. I just want to know from a personal opinion. Do you believe a young black man in America can point a gun at 2 or 3 cops? Because I'm not the only one that get found guilty for these things. Cops charge people with these things at an alarming rate, and people
Preach, my
take
nigga.
deals because they don't have lawyer money or they can't afford attorneys to even fight for their freedom. Do you believe that a young black man can lift up a firearm and point a gun at 2, 3 cops while they're attempting to do a bust with their firearms out and not a single shot being fired? That don't even make sense in
Hey, pause
America.
that,
And
fam. That's enough of that, bro. Realest shit I ever heard in my life, bro. Do you think a black man in America can point a gun at a few officers and not get shot, my nigga?
I've seen hundreds of people point guns at cops. Oh, they're white, sorry.
Oh my gosh, they get detained, right?
Take it to Burger King. You shoot up a church.
You know, bruh, kill 9 people.
A black man can't do that and live. A black man can't do that and live.
Hell nah,
Have
man.
you ever seen? So for anybody watching, you can put this in the comments. Have you ever seen anybody of color point a gun at a police officer and not get shot? I've seen somebody get shot for reaching in their wallet to get their CDs.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen somebody get shot for trying to make a phone call to calm his mother and his daughter in the back seat down without a weapon. He had a registered weapon. Said he had a registered weapon.
Explain that he had it already.
Wasn't reaching for the said registered weapon and was shot.
And that's on video.
Have you ever seen a white person do this and live? I have.
Hell yeah.
Racism is unbalanced.
Yeah, this shit is kind of crazy, bro. Like, honestly, I don't know what the nigga could be possibly talking about. Meek is the perfect person to endure the stuff that he did at a younger age, which a lot of us, being black in America, endures.
Right.
He's one of the perfect people to talk about criminal justice reform and ways to make this system better.
Yeah.
I think he's the perfect person, man. Who else could be somebody
But
that
it's-
can fight for this cause?
But wouldn't that also be? It's pretty asinine though, because wouldn't you want somebody who can relate to the struggle that you're fighting for
Exactly.
to be the person that's the mouthpiece for it?
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you're let's say you're Indian, you want somebody to fight for your homeland. Wouldn't you want somebody from your homeland
Right.
to fight for you?
Yeah.
If you're somebody if you're Meek Mill is the perfect person to represent injustice in America because he's been able to suffer through it and still be able to stand up through it.
This is what I don't understand. I don't watch Meek Mill as closely as others. It's not one of my personal favorites. But the whole Poppin' Willie thing, that's part of his brand. He's been popping Willie since he came out.
Yeah.
What made this different?
He famous and he rich. I think that's the only difference. If he was still in his hood with the braids and had no money,
Dirty as fuck?
no one would pay him no mind.
Yeah.
But when you're in the spotlight and you're a part of a regime like MMG, Rick Ross, and you're the preeminent street rapper in the mainstream, I think there's going to be more eyes on you regardless. But the feds are everywhere now. Anything he says on probation from 19, he just got off.
Yeah.
30,
Yeah.
31.
No, I think he's still.
Is he
He's
still,
still
no,
on
he is
probation?
Still on. You know, he is still on. You're right.
Imagine being on probation for a decade.
It's fucking ridiculous, bro.
Why? I
And
don't.
the slightest thing can be a violation.
And it's for non-violent offense.
Yeah.
He didn't kill anybody. He didn't murder anybody. He wasn't an accessory to murder. There was no manslaughter.
Yeah.
Why is it that the criminal justice system always wants to make an example out of our prominent black
That's a good question.
entertainers, athletes?
We already know the answer to this. They want to keep the younger ones in line. This is a lesson. You got to make an example out of somebody to let them know, hey, you cross this line, or you toe this line, or this will happen to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To keep certain people down. I mean, it wouldn't be oppression without pressure.
Okay, then, brother.
Shit crazy to me. I think Meek is the perfect person to talk about this shit,
agree.
and he should continue.
Meek is the perfect person to talk about it. He should continue to talk about it. Newsflash, people. Someone who's an advocate for something like criminal justice reform or anything you stand by. They don't have to be the most intelligent person. They don't have to be the smartest person or the person who went through the struggle the deepest. When you have somebody speaking for you that has went through what you went through, most of the time that's all you need, because there's so many people fearful and they don't speak up at all.
Right.
So you should congratulate somebody like him who will go on somewhere like CNN knowing they're going to try to spin it a certain way. Similar to when you go on Vox. CNN is more liberal, but Vox is more right. They're going to try to spin it to make you seem like you don't know what you're talking about. But Meek handled himself very well.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to end it off on that note. Appreciate y'all watching the Wave Report. Make sure y'all tune in every Monday for the new episodes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Wave Report 813 on Instagram. Make sure you follow that. Check us out on SoundCloud as well. Follow that. Hey, it's the Wave Report, baby. We in your ear.
Peace.
I still don't know why there's a car in the background.
It's a garage, my nigga.